All right, the Fool is the main card here. This is the essence of what's going on. And the Fool is like a new beginning. It's not necessarily foolish. It usually means take a chance, take a leap of faith. But it does feel like everything in your awareness is kind of switched a little bit. So it feels like new beginnings is what it's feeling like for you, Virgo. So this can be the completion of what you've been working on over the last year or so, things coming into focus a little bit more. And the Fool, the Tarot is the story of the Fool. It is a 0 card. So it does feel like you kind of completed some karma, finishing tasks. You may have retired or started something new, like going back to school or graduating from school. So it does feel like new beginnings are on the horizon. You have a very clean and open slate, Virgo. So that's a really good place to be. You get to fill in now with all the new stuff. What crosses you, and this is the 7. This is the 7 of Cups. Cups are about emotions, feels, all the feels, as my kids would say. This can stand for 2 things. It's either having to redo your bucket list since you are in the beginning of things. All the things that you wanted to do or have set up to do in the future may not be valid anymore since you have changed intrinsically. You have changed internally. So when we grow internally, our desires and our highest creative essence changes because we've learned those lessons. So now it's time to fill your cups with new things that you want to do. If you always wanted to go live in a foreign country for a while, things like that. So it does feel like you have taken a step up in your havingness, in your abundance, and now it's time to redo all of your hopes, dreams, and desires, bucket lists, if you will. This also can stand for not seeing clearly what is happening that's right in front of you, kind of fantasizing that it's one way and it really isn't. So make sure any things that come into your awareness that you're looking at them as they truly are, not as you wish them to be. All right, Virgo, I just heard something with my camera. Oh, okay, cool. What is above you? This is the 8 of Wands, and the 8 of Wands are like ideas coming down from the heavens. It also can mean that you're prioritizing, you're releasing some things. I know Virgos, well, all signs have been really releasing things since a lot of the large astrological things have kind of been dictating some change in our lives. So this is those bright ideas coming down. So it does look like these ideas need a little motion behind it because you've got the 3 knights all in a row. And knights are really about motion, putting your money where your mouth is, starting the process. So take those things from the dreamscape or the ideascape and put them into the physical world to manifest. So it does look like one at a time. It does look like you have a lot of things. So it does feel like you need to pick one thing at a time till completion, instead of maybe having things all up in the air. It does feel like there's things all up in the air for you, Virgo. So just pick one thing to resolve at a time, and then you won't get so overloaded with the things you have to do. Temperance is here. Temperance is about balance, about finding your balance, making you a priority. It also feels like that you've had to kind of muster some patience recently. This is in the past position. So this does feel like this may be something that's happening around you and not necessarily something that you have created. This can be a family issue. It could be, in-laws, but it does feel like something within the family is kind of spinning around you and that you've kind of lost your balance about it. So you may have to collect your energy, let them fall on their face a little bit, but it does feel like it's something that you've been wanting to have come into balance for a while. So this can be your partner's children, something to do that affects your life that really isn't facilitated by you. But it does feel like you may have been having to pick up the slack for someone else, and that has come to an end. So it's really time to find your balance, let them fall on their face. If it is, a family issue, you can always step back and give advice without cleaning up their messes. But it does feel like you're coming more into focus, and what will get you balanced. This crown is lighting up for me, so it does feel like you have reconnected with the God of your heart. And for those of you in the atheist world, that's just finding certainty and finding that quiet time, listening to yourself. So it does feel like many of you might have wandered back into church, or that you're making meditation more of a focal point, but it does look like you have made yourself a priority over a lot of people's like drama and jive that you used to clean up. So it doesn't look like it is affecting you as much as it used to. The Queen of Pentacles is here, and you know, Pentacles is about earthly things, money. This can be you as well, Virgo. But the Pentacles is really a generous soul. She's good, she's practical, and a fair advisor. So it does feel like this does represent you, even if you walk in a male body, Virgo, but it does look like your guidance is needed in a situation for it to move a little bit. This may be the family dynamics, but it does feel like people in the past have asked your opinion and kind of ignored it. But it does feel like this time, you know, you've backed off a little bit. And since you are very good, a good advisor, you're practical with money, it does feel like people may be coming to you for some sound and sage advice, because you are very fair, Virgo. You do look at both sides of the situation, or the many sides of the situation, before making a decision. But it does look like you will be held in high regard and asked for some advice concerning others' issues. The next one in the future position, this is the 9. This is the 9 of Cups. This can be the abundance card. This can be the inheritance card. Even though it is not a money card, it's a feeling card, but it does feel like you're getting much more back in balance between your body, mind, and soul, that you've been able to put clear and respectful boundaries for yourself, and not letting things affect you like they had in the past. So it does feel like you are a little mellower. This blue is lighting up for me, that you have a calmness and you're going with the flow a little bit now, not kind of going too much in the future or worrying about the past anymore, that you're pretty well present and grounded in your truth right now. And it does feel like your money stuff is getting a little more balanced. Maybe you got some money back from the IRS or finished a bill, but it does look like you've been able to prioritize your money. It was going out at a pretty rapid rate, and it does feel like it's slowed down a little bit, that you can get a handle on it. For many of you, it may be getting a new job, a raise, something that has raised your abundance a bit. Okay, next, at the basis of all this, this is the 4. This is the 4 of Cups, so it does look like you were disappointed by someone. It does feel like either you were lied to, or that someone was either disrespectful or left you out of the loop, made some decisions that affected you in a negative manner. But it does look like you're holding a little bit of grudge, you know, even though it didn't work out as the way you chose it to work out. Everything works out the way it's supposed to. There are other opportunities just waiting for you to look up right there. So it does feel like that there are new opportunities for you, and that you are a little disappointed in someone's actions. But it does feel like you are starting to heal yourself and make your separations from that sadness or resentment. It is only causing a block for your abundance and what you need to collect this lifetime. The first of the 3 knights here is the Knight of Cups, and knights are about motion. The cups here, these can be messages of love or true love. So you may be getting messages from a lover from the past, or maybe your partner is honoring you all of a sudden, or you've reconnected in your love space. The Knight of Cups is looking forward, so it does feel like it's a progressive, that it is a positiveness where you're able to speak your truth, and either your partner or your loved ones are able to speak your truth. That it does feel like it's a little more productive. Your communication is a little more productive than it has hasn't been in the past because you've been able to wrestle some of these things. But pay attention to emails, mail through the post office, or just messages through people. But it does look like you may be getting some messages of love either from the past or your current situation. And for those of you looking for a partner, it looks like a perfect time to put that information out there in the world to try to connect with others. It does look like it's a very good time for that. The Knight of Pentacles is here. Pentacles is about earth things. This feels like it's news of money. Can be news of inheritance or material things, could be even getting a raise or a new job. But there is some news about about physical things, money, can even be like trips, things like that, things that you'd like to do. But it does feel like it's more positive in nature than it has been in a while. And it does feel like all that hard work you've been doing, Virgo, is starting to pay off and you're getting more positive results. The Knight of Swords is the culmination card, the card at the top here. Knights, again, are about motion. Swords can be bad news, conflict, angry messages. So some of these things from the past may not be as... they may be a little more unsettling. If it is about your work situation, you may have, a piece or two of the puzzle that you need to fulfill before you get the payoff. But it does feel like all the stuff you've been talking about and wanting to do and thinking about needs some motion, needs a little bit of participation from you. So make that first step, and the rest usually fall right into place after you make that first step. The 5 is here. Fives can be very tumultuous. Fives can be challenging. It does look like it is an extension of this 4 here. This is about the disappointment that you felt in the past and you're having to walk away. Maybe the plans has changed so drastically that you don't recognize what the plans were and you just have to turn around and walk away. It does feel like you're shielding yourself from a little bit, so it may have been a verbal spat, with this Knight of Swords right here. But it does feel like some plans that you had been working towards were kind of usurped or have gone by the wayside. Some of this family stuff may have taken precedent over money, and so you've had to delay your wildest dreams, your travel or moving, whatever it was. It does look like there is a bit of a delay, but it requires more of that action and things will get right. But it does require some participation on your part to get the ball rolling again. But it does feel like you're sitting in kind of this disappointment, a little bit of a disappointment. Everything works the way it's supposed to, so there will be something better on the horizon than the original. That's the way I like to think about it. Something better is coming than my original plan. The 2 is on the other side of here. This is the 2 of Swords, so it is feeling like you are feeling a little vulnerable. You're protecting yourself. It also feels like you're kind of sick of looking at other people's stuff and taking some time to really be intrinsic. It does feel like you are very guarded around your heart. So this betrayal may have happened with someone very close. It may be your love partner. It may be a family member or a friend, but it does feel like there is something that you're feeling betrayed, lied to, manipulated, and you're really done with that. You're done with that. It's like, that's enough. It does feel like you're kind of withdrawing a little bit from life in general around this. But, we need to take our time to heal our heart, heal our mind before we take that next step. Don't sit in it too long because you got all this activity that's requiring your participation. So sit in it for a moment, feel it, pull that blindfold off and look at it as it truly is, not as you wish it to be. So you have, and the swords are really about communication and thinking. So it does feel like you might be spinning a little bit on how to resolve this betrayal or what is the morally right thing for you to do. But it does feel like you're protecting yourself a bit about that. So that is your general reading, Virgo, for the month of May. I'm going to throw a couple of these past life cards. They're one-word cards, and they kind of validate the rest that we're working on. So Oops. Spouse. So it does feel like you may be having a little disagreement with your loved one, your loved partner. And for those of you that don't have a spouse, this may be some issue that you had when you did have a partner that's coming up that you need to release, so not to bring it to the next relationship. And the final one is scribe or write. So it does feel like you're really intrinsic right now. You're kind of internally processing these things. And, you know, sometimes it's best to just get it out on paper. What I do is put it out on paper, things that piss me off or things that I'd like to create. And then I burn it so I can release it. And it's a great visual for me to release. So it does feel like it's time for you to write some of your experiences, write a letter to someone that you've been trying to communicate with, or just write a letter to yourself. Sometimes getting it from them out of the mind and onto paper really helps us to release just by doing that process.